Hey, it's Rich back with you for another video in Long Beach. We finally got some sunlight. I couldn't resist the opportunity to get one more flight in this magnificent 421C. I'm with Brad Hudson. He just bought the airplane. So we're going to take it up, learn a little about Brad, how he got in this airplane, and give you guys one last look at 5.5 Romeo Lima.
Number 5.5 Romeo Lima, affirmative, runway 30 at Delta 3, line up and wait, traffic landing runway 26 left, and departing runway 26 right.
30 Delta 3, line up and wait, 5.5 Romeo Lima.
Number 5 Romeo Lima, continue runway heading, runway 30 Delta 3, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading, clear for takeoff, 30 Delta 3, 5.5 Romeo Lima.
Alright, we're in the green. Fuel flow looks good. Airspeed is alive. $80, $90, $100. Positive rate, pull the gear up.
Check up the 60 outside on pad 4, requesting lane work. Number 6 outside, we're approved.
Okay, as I mentioned in the intro, this is maybe the third or fourth video we've done on 5.5 Romeo Lima, but it's such a fine example of a 421 and kind of a unique experience with selling this airplane. And I've never seen another 421 like that. We're with Brad Hudson. I don't remember when you and I started talking about this airplane, but it was probably late summer.
Yeah, it's June.
And you saw it on, well, you never saw it on controller because it was never on controller, right. So you saw it on YouTube.
Saw it on the video, yep.
And Brad and I started talking about this airplane, and over the next probably 5-6 months, you bought the airplane late in 23 and just now getting out to do some training and headed home to North Carolina tomorrow. But before we get any further on the airplane, how did you get into flying? What got that all started for you?
Well, I've got a few clients who have been encouraging me for a decade to fly, but I've got 4 kids that have been growing up, and so for a lot of times it was, Saturday was soccer practice and things going on with them, and just, I've got several hobbies, and I just couldn't fit it in the way it needed to be done. But over time, my interest has grown. We ended up buying a vacation home during COVID, and there's an airport right in the backyard. And it's a 3-hour drive, a 45-minute flight.
Yeah.
And I didn't need much more convincing on that.
Yeah. So that's kind of a needs-driven thing more than just a passion for airplanes. Then a lot of people been looking at airplanes my whole life and finally got to a point where I can make it happen.
Yeah, I started the process very much needs way. Wanting to get from A to B to then start having fun.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the experience I've had over the last year has really fueled a passion for flying. It's just been fun where the trip itself is part of the fun adventure.
Yeah, and that's fairly common too. So how about 421s? Did you consider lots of different airplanes, or did you just say, hey, 421 seems to be a good airplane, or tell me how you concluded a 421 might work?
Yeah, looking at the mission profile of what I wanted to do. I've got 4 kids, married. I'm a financial advisor as my day job, so I have clients that I might want to take up, and I want to be able to take a number of people to go scuba diving or go to just do something fun, snow ski. I'm passionate about, so I want to be able to take a useful load.
Right.
So that having a good useful load was important. Having the range to be able to fly, 2 to 3 hours with a decent number of people was important. And then the pressurization was just major. My daughter has hydrocephalus, so that makes her very sensitive to barometric changes in pressure. So to be at any altitude at all for her, I think a pressurized airplane would maximize her comfort.
Yeah. Pressurization is a significant feature to make, passenger comfort more you know, people who might be uneasy about flying, if they don't have to pop their ears and they don't feel tired from the altitude so much, then that can go a long way towards making them more agreeable to fly.
Right.
You know, as much as we love airplanes, you know, jumping about anything, but passengers is a different story.
Well, then safety is a factor too. So having the twin, and I know opinions vary, but having the two screws out there instead of one, it was worth the extra money, the fuel burn, whatnot, to be able to have that confidence that I've got two engines out there in case one does decide to quit.
And we've had a lot of conversations about that in the course of the training, you know, relative to the single engine versus a twin engine and some of the issues that come up with, you know, with operating a twin engine airplane. And so how long have you had your license again?
I did my solo in June. I'm trying to think when I got my private. So I got my, I guess it must have been August when I got my private. Yeah. Then my instrument a few months after that. And then I got my multi-engine rating the first of this year.
Yeah. So a pretty new pilot. Pretty new multi-engine rating, pretty new instrument rating all the way around, and that's a lot to take in.
Charlie Special Flight Rules, Bonanza 17 Delta Charlie, exiting Special Flight Rules over El Segundo, transition good tour.
He's on the other side. It's a lot to bite off, but Danny Green and I have done your training, and as we both observed, like, you know, you assess pilots. I fly with all kinds of different people and pilots, and you know, you don't have a choice but to assess pilots. And one thing I've learned is that time, it's an interesting factor in how long you've been a pilot and your experience, but it's not a major factor. And I've been demonstrating airplanes for a long time, and sometimes the guys that have spooked me the most are the high time guys that tell me, oh no, I did this, did that, and flew and did all these things, and either maybe they haven't flown in a while, they've been flying transport class airplanes for a long time, and they come back to a GA airplane, and you know, there's a big learning curve on the other side of that. So you know, Brad has done like this training in this airplane. We knew that where he was at with time, and you know, we recognize this is a pretty complex airplane, a lot of performance, pressurization, two engines, 375 horsepower. It's just a lot to absorb, but you know, you've done a really good job at managing all this stuff, and you can tell you've put the time in to kind of study and prepare for coming out here to pick up the airplane. It wasn't, I mean, it's easy to tell. Plus you have the hand-eye coordination and I think the multitasking skills to probably naturally to be able to absorb it. Now that doesn't mean, you know, you're at the level you want to be before you take the next step with probably passengers, and there's insurance requirements and all that kind of stuff. But you know, from my perspective, I look at that, I don't make any assumptions about anybody based on time, how much time they have versus, and then, you know, well, then I can let my guard down because this guy has 5,000 hours, or this guy only has 200 hours, so he's gonna you know, not gonna be able to do anything. I stopped doing that long ago, and so it's been a lot of fun to actually, you know, see how you're gonna transition into this airplane. So, you know, it's not exactly the $1 million question. It's pretty close to the $1 million question. What do you think of the airplane, expectations versus what you were hoping? You know, and I haven't asked this question. You can vouch for that. I haven't really asked the question like, what do you think of the airplane now that you've seen it, you've flown it, you've seen it on a single engine, you've done some approaches, we've done some air work, you've landed it multiple times, managed the engines, assessed the avionics. What's the summary for you?
I'm pretty well blown away for being a newer pilot, low time, admittedly. So this is a lot of airplane, and I knew that going into it. But assessing a whole host of planes, M600s and C90s, and even the Barons, you know, twins, and what the mission capability was, I knew that this is the plane I wanted to be in. This was going to be the best fit for me at this time. but I was going to have to train into it.
Yeah.
What was my expectation was. And I've seen some other ones. I've been looking, kicking, tires. Sometimes half the fun is looking. But then this videos came in. I watched several of these. There was another similar one that I looked at that nothing was really coming through for me. And I was watching the video that you did where you made the announcement. It's pretty funny. You get about halfway through the video, and I was like, I wish you'd just say this plane is for sale. And then you get to the end of the video and you say, yeah, this plane's coming on the market pretty soon.
Yeah.
And I'm quick comments, texting, yes, put me on the list, I want to be there immediately. And so, because the workload is going to be, I'm more comfortable in the glass, I've trained in the glass, and I felt like it would be better. I want something that's been updated technologically, newer engines, the RAM meant a lot. I know enough to know the good stuff, if you will. Yep. And I know that this plane was going to come along very, very often, so I decided to jump on it. I probably say it more than he appreciates, but one of my great clients has taught me the phrase, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly bear. Yeah,
that's right. I couldn't agree more. That's that. And, this is a one-of-a-kind airplane right now, and that mentality you had kind of makes the connection happen. Let's turn to a heading of 320.
Heading 320.
We're going to kind of go out over the valley here and stay clear of all the high traffic areas. Yeah, and as I've mentioned, I think every time I fly this airplane and I've done a video, I've been kind of a fan of 421s for a long time. And remember the picture you saw of me with my little kids? My oldest daughter is almost 30, and she was probably 8 in that picture, maybe 9. And so, been flying them for a long time, and I still get excited about them. And then to see one evolve to this, as I've mentioned in the videos, is really cool for me. And to see a vibrant market for them and people continuing to upgrade these airplanes because they have a lot of useful life left to them. And as you mentioned, the utility and the capability that this airplane offers, you really can't get it if you're looking at new airplanes. We had the discussion about, single turbine versus a multi-piston, and there's all kinds of factors that go into that. But, to me, this airplane is special from a lot of different perspectives. And I think you've kind of captured that and are willing to, get it at a time when most people say, well, you got to get some time before you do this. You got to get a multi-engine rating, and you got a pathway to get to that point. But it's pretty cool to see how it all came together. And flying, the weather was crummy for 3 weeks, and it's like the day you got here, we finally got our first sunlight. We've had 3 beautiful days of training and looking around. And you don't get much better than this in Southern California.
It's been pretty amazing to have an opportunity to train out here too.
Yeah, and the airspace.
Landing at Big Bear was a treat yesterday too.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's a good place to train. I mean, you got to kind of pick and choose your spots because it can get a little busy. But so tomorrow we're going to get up early and launch back to Wilmington, North Carolina, and hopefully make 2 legs. This airplane has plenty of fuel, so we'll hopefully be able to do it in 2 stops, and you'll get to really see the cross-country piece of the puzzle on this thing. So we're looking forward to that.
Number 5 Romeo Lima, you can start your left turn now, and your number 1 Romeo 26 clear to land.
Starting a left turn, number 1 26 clear to land, 55 Romeo Lima. So this is probably going to be a constantly descending, it's almost like an overhead 360. So just start the descent and just keep that bank in, and you should roll right out on the final.
Just going to go missed and right down with
maintain
Right, number Delta Roger, traffic falls heading to your right.
Maintain blue line until short final.
Keep an eye out for that traffic, number Delta. And Cessna 2104 Hotel. Climb maintain 3,000, expect 7,000.
This is great practice. Really couldn't have programmed a better
climb maintain 3,000, expect
little
7,000, departure,
maneuvering practice visual approach.
Correct, and you contact Plum Good departure on 124.7. Have a good day.
If you need to extend it out too, you don't have to keep, make it a continuous base. Up to you.
Right now, you can start your right turn. Turn that right turn, 8 November.
Come on now, it's not a bad idea. Go fast. Think landing assured.
Nice.
Make it next one.
Yeah, there's another one.
Number 5 Romeo Lima, left point able and contact ground, point 8, thanks for your help, have a good day.
Left the next one and switch over to ground. Thank you. 5-5 Romeo Lima. So we landed at Camarillo. We did a nice, not planned, kind of a hybrid. We started off on a practice instrument approach, and then we, that got modified into a overhead brake to a downwind final and landing, and that's great because it's mix up, and this is something you're going to face in the real world, and how you're going to handle it, and did a nice job. We debriefed how that all went well, and tomorrow I'm going to be saying goodbye to this airplane. It's been in my life here for a couple of years, so I'm happy for Brad, but I'm kind of sad to not have this beautiful example of a 421 that I can always show people. Frank, you met Frank who bought the other one. Well, this is his first experience with a 421, so you can imagine how that went.
Right.
Right? It's nice to have the cream of the crop to be able to show people or have handy. And so now we're going to be without that. So you sure you don't want to leave it for another few weeks?
No, I think I'm going to hang on to it. Yeah.
All right.
Got to claw it out of my hand.
Yeah,
at
I
this
can
point.
imagine. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Anyway, hope you, everybody that's watching, enjoyed watching this 421. It's truly the finest one out there that I've seen. So I'm sure we'll be staying in touch with Brad. Who knows what we might be doing in the future, but thanks for watching.
537 Roger, tag.